Before we get going, I just want to say memberships are now a thing on this channel, and if you guys are interested, please click the join button. It will eventually include early access to videos and a few other perks as well. So, let's get on with this. George R.R. Martin and Neil Gaiman claim they hate, air quotes, Hollywood's tendency to alter source material. The hypocrisy of them both is going through, and they're both writers I like. But if you've watched The House of the Dragon, as much as I love The House of the Dragon, there is definitely some alterations to the source material. And when he kind of, what happened with Game of Thrones, especially at the end. So, that's a thing. And then Neil Gaiman, who I've lost a lot of respect for. I still like Neil Gaiman's books. I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan. But he stood up for the Rings of Power, which is abhorrent, and then started criticising and calling anyone who dared criticise his Netflix Sandman thing that changed the source material and altered the characters, race swapping and gender swapping, a lot of them, the R word. So, hypocrisy much? I just can't get over this statement, and I find it hilarious, especially from Gaiman. I've done lots of videos on George R. R. Martin, including Will He Ever Finish the Song of Ice and Fire, and I've talked about The House of the Dragon, which is a series I love, at great length on this channel so far, and there will be more videos eventually. On the other side of it, Neil Gaiman is a hypocrite. And that's what I find really weird here, like contradicting what you're saying is something that I absolutely detest, and I do wonder how much Netflix paid you. The Sandman ultimately was cancelled, and it was not a great series. I thought it did the story well, but the sort of race and gender swapping of characters is something I wholeheartedly disagree with, and always will do. But it does divert from the source material. They also changed some story elements that didn't quite make sense here and there, but that's a whole other video, I suppose. The fact that they are standing on their social media platforms and going and doing interviews where one minute they claim to hate the Hollywood trend of altering source material and then crying that you're all this and that for not liking the source material being altered in the first place. I'm sorry, but do these people not have any self-awareness? Is it just me? I mean, Stephen King's Twitter is a hot mess, but again, that's another video. Like, self-awareness and celebrity are a bizarre thing, and most celebrities or famous people or well-known people don't have it. And sadly, this is case in point. Like I said, The Sandman on Netflix has been cancelled after one season, and rightly so. It was not a great adaptation, but also changing the characters to the point they were almost unrecognisable is not on. I'm a little more forgiving with The House of the Dragon given the source material that this is based on, and there's a lot of gaps that need to be filled in. But again, they did race swap and based it on a blog entry by Martin, which is still not canon to the novel. And why I do agree that you have to change some elements of a story from book to screen. It's always the thing. It's two different mediums. Something that takes 20 pages to tell in a book could literally be a 1-minute scene in a film or a television series. We don't need long, intimate details of food. That's the tendency. But when he started, Gaiman that is, shilling for the Rings of Power, not only was I blatantly disappointed, it goes against everything that he has stood for and tweeted about. He has tweeted himself on upholding the source material and keeping it true to the source material, yet let his own work get chopped into pieces and willingly defended it. Again, how much is Netflix paying you? You can't be one or the other, and the fact that these people tend to sit on their thrones with their blue ticks saying this stuff and contradicting their own actions and their own words is not only kind of sad, but it really does go to show that people, the viewers, are far more intelligent than a lot of these people give them credit for. I mean, I love The Sandman. My favourite adaptation of The Sandman is Audible. That is a gorgeous adaptation that is so beautifully done, and I've talked about that on this channel as well. Years ago I made a video, I called it the best thing on Audible, and it still is, where Netflix took it and just, I think in race swapping and gender swapping characters, you change their agency, you change their own history, and it ends up becoming kind of this weird Frankenstein's monster of ideas. I didn't enjoy The Sandman for the simple reason I found it completely disappointing. I found it was missing that magic, and it was missing so much from what the Sandman graphic novels are. In the terms of just style and structure, it was also very different. But to tweet 1 minute that you can't stand changes and the source material should be respected, to defending things and defending changes to your own work, and then going back to your original ideal, is not only extremely hypocritical, but it's also extremely transparent. And it does scream of money changed hands or something, just because of the nature of it, and just because it seemed to be so left field coming from out of that ballpark from Gaiman, that I've never truly understood it. Like I said, The Sandman is one of my favourite graphic novels, and to let Netflix do it of all bloody people, I always feel like it's a show that would belong on HBO or something, rather than Netflix, because Netflix are very anti-male and very anti-diversity of opinion. The same with same with Prime, to be honest. But I just find this both hilarious and kind of weird watching it, because you can't 1 minute claim that you hate it, then defend it, and then hate it. Unless they are so unaware or lack self-awareness to that point that they are completely oblivious or ignorant to it. I do wonder what goes through people's heads. I do feel like writers in general need to step away from social media and just actually create rather than tweeting all day, because we all know Twitter it's been a rat's nest for the best part of the last 6 years, and now with sort of the leaks, it really does tell. But it would be interesting to see if money did actually change hands to say nice things. If it did with Gaiman, I'm not only extremely disappointed, but he should know to do better. To quote someone I blocked. But yeah, I do think this is just one of the most bizarrely hypocritical statements I've seen come out of two people in my life. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? So tell me what you think in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.